Welcome to Adam Reader's project on large composite creations. For this project, we're actually talking about the 3-day research and reading strategies that students are going to be doing for this project. The major objectives for this project are research, and then the creation of the project with the actual physical sculpture, and then writing the one-page paper. So students, they're either going to be making a large vessel or a container of some kind. Information about the two different choices and everything else we're talking about is going to be on the class website, which is this Zuno. I think I've shown in class before, but all the information for all the projects are here. And in each of these folders is a lot of information about the projects, including the writing prompts, links to ideas, PowerPoints that I show in class, handouts, etc. So students will choose a type of project they're going to make, and then they're going to start doing research about what that thing is. That's going to help them with how to make the project, and then also what it is that they're going to write for their paper. So pretending like this were day one, we're talking about the scaffolded lesson plan and the reading strategy that we're going to be working with. All right, so day one, you guys were preparing. We're doing our research now for the project. Remember, this is important because you're learning everything you need to know for how to make your project, whether that's exactly how people made it back in the old days when they made totem poles, however many thousands of years ago they made them or whatever. You find that out, write that down. And then also the process of actually how to physically make it. Those are things that you're going to look at too. But on day one, we're not actually going to be doing much reading. What I want you to do is hold yourself back from reading and trying to find out that information. What we're going to be doing is writing some pre-reading questions. So you're going to look at the book and pretend like we're using Tom Sawyer as an example. You're holding Tom Sawyer, but you're not reading through it. You're looking at the pictures, chapter headings, maybe the first couple sentences, kind of trying to get an idea maybe what the text is going to tell you. And then you're going to write that down. Like, I think that this is going to be talking about Timmy's bicycle. So write that down, okay? So on day one, we're going to be assembling that information on. You have 3 sources that you have to use for this project, and we're going to create the pre-reading questions for that, okay? So this is a reading strategy that's going to help you probably dig a little bit deeper and think a little bit deeper, and also think while you're reading and try to help retain some of that information that normally I personally would skip over because I get distracted when I read sometimes. Okay, so today, some of you started yesterday reading because you finished your questions really fast, which is great. It's give you more time to work on your sculpture, but everyone else today, we're going to be doing our reading and you're going to be answering the questions that you wrote down during the pre-reading phase of this assignment. This time, while you're reading, you guys, think about the questions you wrote. You wrote them down, so you know what information you're looking for. If it's something totally different than what you wrote down, but it's still interesting or still helpful, then you need to write that in your journal because that's something that you're going to use in your paper. And you can tell me, hey, I found this while I was doing my reading, but I didn't expect it, but it really helped me. That's great. That is wonderful. Really, that's why we're doing this. I want you to be able to have those moments where you're trying to dig for the questions you wrote or something, and then you find that little nugget of gold that just makes you super smart and also make amazing artwork. I love that. That's great. Are there any questions about pre-reading questions that what you're going to be doing while you're reading today? No questions? Let me rephrase that. While you're reading today, what is it that you're going to be looking for? That's right. You're going to be looking for that thing you wrote down yesterday. Right. Okay. Go to. Become smarter. Go read. Okay. Day 3. Today, we're going to be reflecting. Everybody wrote down the things that they found in their journal. You wrote them down there, and now you're smarter, and your project's going to be awesome, and your paper as well. But for reflection, I really want you to look back on what it was that you thought that you were going to find. On day one, you wrote down all these things. You thought it was going to be about Timmy's bike. Well, it turns out that it was about horses. So for reflection, you would write down the difference between what you thought it was going to be about and what it was actually about. And this shouldn't take too long, but I want you to write that down in your journal, right underneath where you wrote the other from yesterday. And so any information that you found that you weren't expecting to find, like, wow, I found this thing that's really going to help me out making my project, and I didn't expect to find it. Yeah, I want you to write that down in your journal as well. That's part of reflection. This is higher order thinking. This is some of the stuff that the state of California, for art standards, wants us to be thinking as we're making art. So you're making the state happy while you're making me happy, and you're making your artwork happy. And then your sculpture is going to be awesome. So then you can take it home and your grandma's going to love it and she's going to be happy. So good work.